I just said something to Kate and it was, Mom is gonna be so annoyed by this, it's gonna be hilarious. And she said, why would you wanna do that? I don't know, baby. All right, so I parked the car sideways in the garage. And I'm gonna close it. All right, babe, come on. Kate's not buckled in because we drove down the street 6 houses, so don't yell at me, Mom. All right. I mean, this is gonna be pretty awesome, I think. Should we close the garage and then go take a nap?
But why do you...
I don't know, babe. In my brain, it's gonna be hilarious because she's gonna come home, open the garage, and then the car will be just sitting there sideways. In reality, she'll probably be like, what an idiot, or not notice and park outside anyway, and then it won't really matter, but I guess I don't. I'm gonna build a wiring harness right now for the ignition and the voltage regulator, which basically is the entire underhood harness, because I have to run the wire back up to the coil, the wire up back to the distributor and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna start working on this, and yeah. I've got my wiring harness built. So what I did was I've got the ignition here, the voltage regulator here. Some of these wires go together. So I'm gonna mount them next to each other in the car under the battery. So this plugs into here. These wires go to the alternator. These wires go to various parts of the engine compartment. So like this is the distributor, these are the coil, and you can see I got them tied together here. This goes to the alternator light on the dash, and this is ignition power. So like when you turn the key forward, all I have to do is mount this in the car, connect each of these wires where they go, like tie them up, cover them and everything like that. And then this car should be totally drivable. In the car, this is the factory harness that's just kind of like butchered. I have a pretty good idea of what each of these does. Like this orange wire connects to the orange wire down there. This is the starter wire, like to start the car, which is already hooked up. This one is the ignition keyed hot. That took way longer than I expected, but I did get the ignition and the voltage regulator mounted. I got the wires hanging down here. I just have to trim them to length, put the terminals on and go there. And then I'll mount them to the fender well so that there's nothing close to hitting anything moving. So far it looks pretty good. The LED lights make this camera freak out, which sucks. So this is the alternator. These are the wires that I have to connect to it. I already have the big power wire run to it. And that should be pretty much it, I think. Yeah. All right, it's not clean right now, but I did just have it crank. So it's running, but it's not charging. Oh yeah, because I didn't hook up the regulator yet. I think I've got the wiring figured out. So all of the ends I made just nice like this with, you know, all of them except for the green one I can get from the top. I'm gonna do this one from the bottom, and then finally gave up and ordered an upgraded alternator for this car. Basically, what I think was going on originally when I took this thing apart is that the regulator was going bad. I pulled the alternator out, had it tested, and the brushes were worn, whatever. I don't know. I didn't have it rebuilt. I just bought a GM1 wire. It didn't fit. I cut it off. I cut like this big chunk of it off, and I actually got it to bolt into the car, but it kind of hit the frame rail, and I was afraid that as the engine moves, like under torque, that it would hit the frame rail, and I didn't want that. So took it out and ordered what I thought was the correct alternator and voltage regulator for this car. Put them in, wired it, and the alternator still won't charge. That alternator was only like a 35 amp from the factory, so that is not very good. I did some searching and found this thing, which I think is an adaptation of a GM1 wire. It's from Chargers Auto Electric, so it should be super easy to get this thing back going and good. I actually have to go to work in a few minutes, so I'm just gonna get this up and hopefully get the old alternator off so that I can put the new one on this afternoon and drive this car out of here. Saturday, and today was a bit of a dumpster fire. I got a ton of stuff done, but not without issues. First, I went to Home Depot this morning and got some PVC, I think, and I finished that. Sounds awesome. Heater works, blower works. It's great. I'm super pumped with how it came out. I think it looks good too. I just have to get some longer screws so I can screw the sub all the way in. Went to hit the key, wouldn't start. So I charged the battery for a really long time and worked on the yellow car, came back, hit the key, still nothing. Luckily, I whacked the starter with a hammer a couple of times, perfectly fine. Working on the yellow car, alternator's in, charge is awesome. Like, that thing is primo now. I can start driving it daily. Great. All I had to do was move this, which is super easy because it's just a single axle trailer. So I slid the front over, drove the yellow car out, then I had to drive this car straight in. Easy enough? No, it wasn't. I ended up coming too far off this side, drove the car off the lift, messed up this thing, then the fender hit the stairs here and bent that. The only saving grace, there's like no mechanical damage or anything, just pride. The front bumper is already cracked, and then obviously I replaced the headlight myself, but I never had the hood fixed. So now that the yellow car is back to drivable and the weather is nice, I'm gonna take this car and have all of this stuff fixed. There's also like a couple of dents that are in it from when I bought it, like this one, and there's one on the other side. You know, nothing major, but if I'm gonna do it, I might as well make it look good. On the bright side, I am driving the yellow car again, which is fun. This has been like a total marathon of working on stuff. Like, I was here last night until midnight, which is, I love having this, it's great. It's just nice to finally have some sense of accomplishment, I guess.